We all know there are $45 trillion of baby boomer wealth sitting in the registered investment advisors. That's a giant amount of wealth. It's the single richest age group in the history of the planet. And they're gonna die. Just like Charlie Munger passed away, God rest his soul, and that money is going to younger people, and younger people like crypto. So as we see this generational shift of wealth, it is shifting into a group that is really happy with digital assets. And so that's the one thing. And the second is we have a government that can't keep its pants on. Like, we have a government that can't stop spending money. On the left and on the right, Congress is failing us as citizens. They are spending too much, and that is the narrative for why Bitcoin goes higher.
We are only 5 months into the year, but 2024 has been pivotal for Bitcoin and the overall cryptocurrency industry. In January, after 10 years of constant disappointments, the US Securities and Exchange Commission finally approved several spot Bitcoin ETFs. The success of BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, Fidelity's Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, and other spot Bitcoin ETFs has been nothing short of remarkable, significantly boosting Bitcoin and other crypto asset prices. In March, for the first time in its history, the leading crypto asset hit a new all-time high of $73,000 before the much-anticipated halving event. On a year-over-year basis, Bitcoin is up by over 150%, and the bull market is only just beginning. Since the spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved, there have been several other exciting and interesting developments, but nothing as exciting as what's happening on the regulatory front. According to Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz, we are currently witnessing the biggest political shifts since Bitcoin was created. On May 16, 2024, the US Senate voted 60-38 to repeal the SEC's Staff Accounting Bulletin 121, SAB 121. This regulation was designed to enforce stringent accounting and disclosure requirements on companies holding digital assets for their customers, and its repeal underscores the ongoing debate over the appropriate level of regulation for the crypto industry. The Senate's decision to overturn the regulation reflects a recognition of the potential negative impacts of regulatory overreach and a bipartisan effort to create a more balanced regulatory environment. A few days after SAB 121 was repealed, the U.S. House of Representatives also passed the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, which seeks to establish a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies and delineates responsibilities between the more crypto-friendly Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, and the Gary Gensler-led Securities and Exchange Commission. The bill is a huge victory for the cryptocurrency industry, made even bigger by the fact that 71 Democrats crossed party lines to vote in favor. While speaking at CoinDesk's Consensus 2024 conference in Austin, Texas, Novogratz highlighted the importance of what's happening on the regulatory end and how it's opening the door for tens of trillions of dollars to spill into Bitcoin and the overall digital assets space. As we present clips from the chat, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can join the conversation by dropping your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
There's been a seismic shift in the crypto political landscape in the last 2 weeks. And it started really with a kind of a bizarre missive from the White House that said President Biden is going to veto the overturn of SAB 21. And when you think about that, you've got a president pre-announcing he's going to veto an arcane accounting rule that the SEC had filed. Like, you're like, why? And Donald Trump, over the savvy political machine, says, wait a minute, I'm going to be the crypto president. A lot of people like that stuff, Bitcoin. I don't like it so much myself, but I tell you, you like it, I'm going to support you. I'm going to be your president. And, you know, for years, I've been in DC trying to tell people this should be a bipartisan issue. It needs to be a bipartisan issue. Telling my Democratic friends, guys, don't keep poking the beast. And that was the day the beast got poked, right? I tweeted, wow, the Democratic Party has decided they're going to be the party that doesn't like dogs, right? There are more crypto owners in America than there are dog owners. And a lot of them are single issue voters. In that week, that was it. You could see it on crypto Twitter. People got fierce. It almost became a purity test. If you don't vote Republican, you're not really a crypto guy. And the Democratic Party heard that. And so what did you see? First you saw 9 Democratic senators cross the aisle on SAB 121, which is really an arcane accounting rule that will allow TradFi custodians into our space, right? And so that's a big deal, including Senator Schumer, the head of the Senate, and more importantly from New York, where there are a lot of crypto jobs. The same day, or 2 days later, the SEC says, well, calls up all the ETF applicants, get ready. I don't know what happened. It certainly feels like someone from the White House called Mr. Gensler and said, dude, you got to change your stance. It's the only thing that logically makes sense. Of course, I wasn't there. I can't tell you for sure. But now we've got an ETF coming. Elizabeth Warren had a huge sway over crypto politics. And if anything happened in the last 2 weeks, her party said, Elizabeth, enough. Now you've got us in hot water with this giant group of crypto voters in a very tight election year, and we don't appreciate it. And so in lots of ways, you can look at this as a giant rebuff of Elizabeth Warren. It's great for all of us because it has gotten the wheels of movement going forward, right? We passed FIT 121. That's a great start. That's now in the Senate, right? The way DC works, right? The House passes bills and the Republicans and the Senate makes laws. And so the most important person right now is Debbie Stabenow, the senator from Michigan, right? Because she's the chair of the Ag Committee where this bill is going to be, the Senate version is going to be built bipartisanly out of the Ag Committee. And if that gets through, those two can decide, Schumer will put it to a vote, and if it gets through, it's going to be law.
Mike Novogratz has worked tirelessly for several years to get suitable regulations for the cryptocurrency industry. In 2021 and 2022, he worked closely with Senator Cynthia Lummis and Kirsten Gillibrand on their bipartisan crypto bill. So it's no surprise he's excited about these recent developments. In a post shared on social media platform X, the Galaxy Digital CEO wrote, "This week has been marked by several watershed moments for the US digital asset ecosystem. Crucial steps are being taken to provide much-needed regulatory clarity, protect consumers, and promote American innovation. I will continue to wholeheartedly support the idea that crypto should be a bipartisan issue. It's an exciting time for the industry." Novogratz's excitement also stems from the amount of money that's been pumped into Bitcoin and, very soon, Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies through exchange-traded funds. Earlier this month, Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas revealed that Millennium Management LLC, one of the world's biggest investment management firms, had the largest investment in the Bitcoin ETFs, with about $2 billion invested. The large investment management firm is one of 500 holders of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. According to Balchunas, that's about 200 times the average number of holders for a new ETF, with all categories of investors, including pension funds, hedge funds, investment advisors, and family offices, sufficiently represented. Let's get back to Novogratz's fireside chat with CNBC's Mackenzie Sigalos.
The two biggest things that will shift the landscape in the US around crypto is this accounting rule being passed or being overturned and the market infrastructure bill. Right? What does the accounting rule do? It allows Bank of New York and State Street, the world's biggest custodians, to start custodying crypto. And the market structure bill, not good for me because the day after it passes, Citibank's going to be calling the headhunters to call for my employees. But what has stopped Wall Street at large from being a participant in the digital markets is regulatory uncertainty. It's the fear that the Fed is going to call and say, no, you can't do that. The fear the SEC is going to be down their throat. The fear that they're going to get a Wells notice, just like almost all the crypto companies. And so as that goes away, you will see a stampede of Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and Citibank and Jefferies and everybody else into this space. I'm hoping, in some ways, I hope it gets delayed a little bit, allows guys like us to build our muscles a little stronger, because like that's really when the big show happens on who's going to be the service providers to the universe that comes in. And so, yeah, the first movers are wealth management clients who said, I want some of this. And just so you know, places like Morgan Stanley, they need that ETF to season for a little more than 3 months before their salesmen are even allowed to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, guy in the white hat in the front row, I think you should put 2% of your portfolio into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And remember, people don't just buy Bitcoin, they get orange pilled. Bitcoin is sold, right? There's an army, all of you are part of it, that convince someone of the merits of crypto, of Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple if you're Brad Garlinghouse, right? This is a really interesting point. Because it's a new asset, it almost is always sold, right? Larry Fink got orange pilled. He didn't wake up one day and say, God, let me become a Bitcoin firm. There was a concerted effort by 10, 12 people to convince him of why Bitcoin was important for the future. And so now you've got hundreds of salesmen at Morgan Stanley and the other, RIAs all around America who are learning the story themselves and picking up the phone and telling their clients, put 2% of your portfolio, what are you scared of? Right? That conversation is starting to happen. This is a 10-year conversation, not a 10-week conversation. There are two things that people really like. We all know there are $45 trillion of baby boomer wealth sitting in the registered investment advisors. That's a giant amount of wealth. It's the single richest age group in the history of the planet. And they're gonna die. Just like Charlie Munger passed away, God rest his soul, and that money is going to younger people and younger people like crypto. So as we see this generational shift of wealth, it is shifting into a group that is really happy with digital assets, that is comfortable with digital assets, that likes, that they think this is their asset class. And so that's the one thing. And the second is we have a government that can't keep its pants on. Like we have a government that can't stop spending money. On the left and on the right, Congress is failing us as citizens. They are spending too much, and that is the narrative for why Bitcoin goes higher. The same narrative for gold and silver is the narrative for Bitcoin. That's not going away.
Elizabeth Warren and other anti-crypto Democrats are obviously losing the battle, but they won't accept defeat without at least one last parting shot. After facing defeat after defeat over the past few weeks, the Massachusetts senator is now demanding to know how the Biden administration is dealing with the use of cryptocurrencies in the trafficking of fentanyl. Warren and Republican Senator Bill Cassidy recently wrote a letter to the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, asking for updates on actions to crack down on drug traffickers' exploitation of crypto to grow their business and launder their ill-gotten gains. A portion of the letter reads, "Cryptocurrency has played an increasingly prominent role in the global fentanyl trade over the past decade, both in terms of facilitating the manufacturing and trafficking of fentanyl and in laundering drug cartels' criminal proceeds." According to the letter, the agencies have until June 14th to give their response about how significant a role they think cryptocurrency plays in drug trafficking. What new initiatives will be implemented in the next 12 months? And what metrics will be used to measure the success in combating illicit cryptocurrency use in the fentanyl trade? Warren has been known to use misconstrued data in her efforts to portray the cryptocurrency industry in a negative light. She also conveniently ignores data, showing that fiat currencies play a larger role in illicit activities than cryptocurrencies. Fortunately, she is losing the war, and very soon, even her powerful banker donors will get aboard the crypto train. Please share your thoughts on Mike Novogratz's interview in the comment section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.